Welcome to Proust My Startup, the podcast that offers you a glimpse at the personalities of the people that make the local startup ecosystem in Malaysia. I'm Vanessa Mouledous, aka Brand Shifu with an H on Instagram, the founder of North Branding Consulting Boutique Agency. I'm a brand strategist, 24/7 immersed by the sides of entrepreneurs, startups, and SME founders. As a brand consultant, a mentor, but also an entrepreneur program facilitator, an investment jury, and a business angel. In Proust My Startup, I want to really discover who are the people that make our local startup ecosystem. Because I'm a brand strategist, I want to understand how their personal brand might influence or shape the corporate brand of their organization. Today's episode is recorded from CloudMile's Center of Excellence in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
Startups thrive on innovation, and CloudMile is here to fuel that journey. As a leading AI and cloud technology company in Asia, they help businesses drive digital transformation and growth, leveraging machine learning, big data, and cloud solutions. With a team made up of certified technical experts and a strong network of technology partners, including being one of just 40 Google Cloud Managed Services providers globally, CloudMile has supported more than 1,200 companies through consulting, technical, and managed services. I've seen it firsthand with my own mentees, tech startup founders. The Center of Excellence in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, now offers startups a collaborative space to explore generative AI, data management, security, and more, and advance their digital competitiveness with cloud and AI adoption. So if, like them, you want to experience it yourself, visit today my.cloud. Hi, Jeff.
Hello, Vanessa.
Nice to have you over. Very glad that you accepted my invitation.
Likewise, thanks for inviting me. Looking forward to this. Apologies, we had to reschedule a couple of times.
That is totally normal. That's my daily life with the podcast.
Yes, I'm really happy.
Thank you. Hi, Jeff.
We're called like 42 Malaysia,
Yes.
simply because we've got three other campuses,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
We've
yeah.
got Penang up north, Johor down south, Central in
Right.
KL, Sabah Sarawak probably in the near future too.
Very good.
Mm.
Okay, so quite big now in Malaysia and a very unique
Yeah.
school. So I'm really glad to have Jeff here, especially l'École 42 is part of the bigger Sunway Group.
Yeah.
And before you on that mic, we had Karen Lau, so from Sunway Live.
iLabs, yeah.
So it's very interesting to see different perspective because Sunway is everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
unavoidable here.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad about this first encounter over the mic, as I was telling you before we
Yeah.
started the recording. It's a very unique way to meet new people here. So thank you so much. I know you're super busy, so I hope this time will be a good time for you at least. So we will start with understanding where you stand at when I say Proust questionnaire. Does it ring a bell or not?
Proust questionnaire.
Yeah.
Not really. Doesn't really. Yeah. No.
Okay.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Which is
but-
normal. And
yeah.
actually, I'm super glad that
Okay.
no one understands what it is in
Okay.
this part of the world. That makes my job much easier.
Okay.
So basically, the Proust questionnaire is a questionnaire popularized by a French writer and philosopher
Mm.
called Marcel Proust. So Proust is his last
Right.
name.
Mm.
He was very famous back then in his time, late 19th, early 20th, and still is. We learn him at school and stuff like this, yeah? And so he popularized this game around personal questions.
Wow. Okay.
Back then, in aristocrat
Yeah.
circle, intellectual circles, they basically just have a lot of time to contemplate life and were into understanding themselves better, I think. So what I have done is I have brought this 150 years old questionnaire into our most forward
Wow.
thinking
Okay.
area, yeah, and
Okay.
ecosystem,
Okay.
right?
Looking
With
forward to
the
it.
tech people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
I discovered recently that the questions I have, the 35
Yeah.
questions, were not entirely the ones from Proust time,
Okay.
but a mix between Proust time and Vogue that at some
Ah. Okay.
point I did the same with celebrities.
Right.
Yeah. But nonetheless, all of them seems to be really flowing, and even the Vogue's one are really perfectly in line with the original questions.
Great.
So we will go through that.
Yeah.
The Proust questionnaire is supposed to reveal the true nature of people.
Oh wow. Okay.
That's the premise here.
Okay.
Ready for it?
Yes,
Okay,
definitely. Yeah.
we're going. So the first question is, what is your idea of perfect happiness?
Oh wow, perfect happiness. I think to keep it short, knowing that if I go to bed feeling happy, not too worried, like sometimes when you go to bed you have the
Yep,
worriness of
yep.
many different things. Going to bed just happy and smiling and waking up just happy and smiling, not having that worry, the cloud around you. I think that would be, my
That's a
definition of happiness.
that's a great definition
Yeah.
actually. Very grounded.
Yeah, yeah.
Simple, but
Simple.
actually very powerful.
I think it's, pretty much maybe because situations as well. Probably if you asked me this maybe 10 years ago, probably would have been a
Sure,
different
sure,
answer. 10 years, from now, probably going to be a different
sure,
answer.
of course.
But because we're running a business that really creates impact in people's lives, and you're constantly thinking about what can we do more, what can we do next. But you tend to sometimes miss out just the moments and living in the present times. And I think if I had the chance, I think it's just to, yeah, the happiness of being able to go to bed and just like, smiling and like, yeah, that was a good day today. And when you wake up, you're not immediately thinking about, I need to check my email, I
Yeah.
need to do this, right? You have just even 1 hour of just being happy, not thinking about what to do next. I think that would be my idea of
I
happiness.
must say that's quite a privilege indeed in
Yeah,
this world.
yeah.
Too many people don't wake up or go to bed that way.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So I think that will be, something that like, yeah, money can't buy kind of thing, right? Yeah. So, yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Never heard this kind of definition so far.
Oh,
So
great.
like it, really like it. All right. Now, what is your greatest fear?
Oh, greatest fear. So it's fear for me is a very interesting thing. Sorry to expand a
No,
little
no, no,
bit
no.
more,
We
but I
are here
think
for that.
yeah. So I think in the early days of my career, I would probably say yeah, the fear of like not performing well or not doing well, and the perception of people, yada yada, right? But I think now, like over the years, I don't really fear much because fear is just something that you are thinking of ahead in time
Yeah.
that you're not really sure it's even going to happen. So the idea of fearing something just some now baffles me. Like, why should you fear of doing it?
Mm,
Like, it's your perception of doing that, meaning, and like, oh, if I do this, it's going to fail. But you never know. You never
true.
know it's going to
True.
fail. It's a 50-50 chance,
True.
right? Like, so I don't really necessarily have a fear. It's just like, why not just do it? If it fails or if it doesn't work out, then just try. So that's more on like maybe on the business side, but I think even personally as well, like, just go for things that you want, right? Like pursue it. Just do it, right? Like there's no harm trying it out. You've only lived once kind of thing. So, don't have any regrets. I think the fear that I will have is that maybe in my 60s or 70s, or well, now they say you can live till the 80s and 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the fear I would have is when I look back when I'm at that age and realize, man, I didn't do so many things. Like I could have done that, should have done that. But right now, I really can't tell you what fear I have. I think, in family, personally, I've lost, a brother, and I've gone through those hardships. Everyone has got, stories.
Yeah.
So like even right now, like yeah, of course, you love your family, you don't want bad things to happen to them, but that's just me thinking on the dark side of things. Because I mean, there are certain things in life that are will happen, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can't just think about those negative things.
Sure.
Let's just think on the forward side of things, the positive side. So yeah, it's a bad answer in a way, but I really don't have any fear. Just do it. Just be happy with what you do. Keep learning as you do, as you go by. Love the people that that surround you. Treat people with equal respect, just like how you want them to treat you. Doesn't matter if you're a CEO or an executive or an intern. You're still the same human being. You're made of the same skin and
Mm-hmm.
and blood. So I think at the end they just do things that make your lives more useful and purposeful. And then I think the fear I have is people who don't do that. That's probably a bit sad for my end. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That feels very peaceful to be you.
yeah,
In a way,
yeah, yeah.
between those two questions, I'm
You know,
like,
so
wow.
so interestingly, when I was in primary or secondary school, my English teacher actually told me that the name Jeff, Jeff, means peace.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, oh, really? Like, cause my mind runs like 100 miles per
Yeah,
hour.
yeah.
But then she's like, no, but on your like my front, it's a very peaceful demeanor, very calm personality. And then like I've noticed it in my work. I've been in very high stressful
Yeah.
environments. And in those situations, I'm always being looked at as the person to like approach during that high pressure situation because I'm the only one there who's like, calm down, guys. Like, we just got to do this, right? Like, stop,
Wow.
freaking out, like running around with like
Yeah,
headless
yeah,
chickens.
yeah.
Just got to get it done, right? And then we get it done, job done, let's move on. And so, yeah, I kind of feel that is, probably, sometimes your name and who you are has some
Yeah, yeah.
meaning
True,
to it, right?
true.
So, yeah.
So that was your birth first name,
Yes, yeah, yeah. So my
right?
name is pretty long, but the first four words in my name is Jeff, and then I
Okay.
have my, Jeff Winder Singh Sandhu,
Okay.
but it,
Yes.
it is Jeff. Most people think it's like a nickname,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
no, no.
yeah, yeah.
I'm
It's really
I'm
your
named
one.
after the Jeffersons show, in the
Ah,
80s.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
so I
remember
was
well.
born during the time when the Jeffersons show was on TV in local Malaysian TV stations, and then my dad came into the room and told my elder brother and elder sister that come and see your new baby brother. And then they were like, no, we want to watch the Jefferson show first before we see him. So then my mom was saying, why not we name me Jeff since they're so obsessed with the Jeffersons
Wow,
show?
that's an amazing
So yeah,
story.
so I'm like, cool. So I love my name, and yeah, so the name Jeff kind of like has you know the sentimental value, knowing that my
Yes,
sister and brother was into the Jefferson show
yes,
and has a
yes.
meaning to it. But then later on in my high school, like secondary school, my English teacher told me that your name means Jeff, means peace, and I was like, wow, really? Like, okay, so I've kind of embodied that in a
Crazy,
way,
yeah.
not knowingly embodying
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
but I
yeah.
think just the way I go about life
Subconsciously
is.
is. So I should have thought twice because my first one is named Aidan, which is a
Oh.
Celtic name, which means little fire. And indeed, when
Is
he
he a
was born,
fiery?
he was a
There you
total
go.
fire.
There you go.
And then we have the latest one. He's called Orion.
Oh wow,
So
nice
okay, it's the
name.
constellation. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's also a semi god in ancient
Yes,
Greek,
yes.
Greece, and that semi god was quite of a warrior,
Okay, and he's
hunter and all.
a fighter. Yeah.
Yeah. So now you're saying it, I'm like, you know what? If I had another, which I won't, three is enough. But if I had one, maybe I should consider something
Yeah,
around
something
peace.
a
So
bit
Jeff maybe would be
calm.
good.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
but in saying that, my second
No,
is Isla
no.
Island.
But
No,
you
no,
need
no.
fighters in this world. You can't just have too many Jeffs in this
Sure,
world. You gotta have fighters too.
but
Yeah.
not at home.
No,
That
no,
would
no,
be
not at
my
all, not at all, not at
my
all.
my
Yeah.
just my big wish. All right. Now, what is the trait you most deplore in yourself?
I must
So the
deplore.
one that
Yeah.
you're really not happy to be.
Oh, the one that I'm not happy that I have in me at this point of time. Maybe I think just sometimes I have very high expectations of people, and you want them to sort of pursue that,
Yeah.
achieve that. Come on, let's go. But I've learned how to sort of manage that because I'm one of those where my mind runs at 100 miles per hour. Doesn't matter what time of the day. My memory to date is still pretty good, so I kind of
That is good. Yeah.
I kind of remember a
Yeah.
lot of things. I don't carry notepads or iPads around. I'm
Oh,
I'm very
everything here.
much, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I'm a listener, and it's stored somewhere in here.
Wow.
So
Such an
thankfully,
ability.
yeah. So so in meetings and stuff, especially in my day to day, and being the CEO, you really are involved in many things.
Yes.
I don't have like an assistant and stuff. I don't necessarily like believe in that. I feel sometimes I'm sharp and fast, and I wish like people are fast and sharp, but I then look at it as like I used to be also one that's learning the pathway and
True.
building up. So I think maybe just trying to not lower, but I think to manage expectations of others, and to know that actually I my when I give out a helping hand, that helping hand is actually a huge hand for them. and
True.
and I've always been blessed to have people who have given me the helping hand in the past. And I think now it's just me being able to do it more. I think that
Understand.
that's something that I would, would love to. And that's why, when people invite me for conversations, podcasts and stuff, I'm more than happy. I don't look at like, well, how many followers do you have or how many views you have.
Which I'm
I don't really
grateful.
yeah, I don't really believe in like even looking up at it,
Yeah.
because I'm just more of like, if I could just share a story, and if just one person resonates with it and
Hmm.
decides to be better, and then that's great.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's pretty
Sure.
much
Well, you're not that old, but still, the wisdom that comes
no,
with
yeah.
you is pretty old.
I'm closer to 40 though, so
Yeah, but I mean, the wisdom you have is a more like end of life wisdom, I
yeah.
would say.
I think it comes with just what one person has experienced in their life
Sure.
leading up to, I've met 18-year-olds who are, I'm amazed at their maturity level,
Mm.
and I'm like, wow, like how have, you've gone through so much. So I think it's just more of, life in itself throws you many things, and just how you deal with it, makes you a better, man or woman in your life, right?
Mm,
So yeah.
that's true. Hopefully.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Now, what is the trait you must deplore in others?
Oh, I feel people, would love people to really just sort of push their limits a little bit more. I
Hmm.
think, and I feel there are many conversations around like the new generation these days. There's also this term where they're like a strawberry generation. You can't really press them or they just break.
Mm,
Um, I just feel generally, I think people just need to do more, a bit more, but do it with a heart. That seems to be really missing. Like when I see people, why they're pursuing this, why they're doing things, why they're starting a new business, or why they're starting a new community, and like you just find them missing the heart element.
mm.
So when you hear them talk about it, like, especially, I'm sure you've had the similar experiences where people come and tell you about their business and what they're
Yeah, yeah.
doing. You could tell if someone's really passionate about it and someone's just doing it because, for the money or for the fame and
Correct.
stuff like that, right?
Correct.
So I feel like if more and more people could just do things from the heart, I think the world would be a way better place. So
That's
yeah,
for sure.
yeah,
That's for sure.
yeah.
All right. Now, which living person do you most admire?
Living person.
Can be famous, can be someone
Wow.
from your circle, private circle.
Oh, that's a hard one. I mean, personally, I think, of course, my mom's like a superhero.
Hmm.
What she's gone through. She's a single mom. We ran away from home many times. Gone through really difficult upbringing. My dad was an abuser, womanizer, things like that, and so we've gone through like hell. And to see my mom, who was a Montessori kindergarten teacher,
Oh, wow.
who was earning below 1,000 ringgit a month, and to raise three kids, and for us to be where we are at this point of time, I mean, like, damn, that's superhero for me. Every mom is a superhero. Yourself,
Yeah, but
Vanessa,
I hear
you
there,
you
there are levels of superhero here.
but to every kid, their parents are the superhero,
Sure.
right? So their parents can do no wrong, right? Like, so for me, like, my mom is the greatest superhero, but of course, it's not like a common thing that people would know. So
Mm,
public figure, it's a bit hard because I tend to only idolize or sort of like look up to people that I personally know who they are.
understand. Yeah.
So I don't really have any like, famous public
Well, that's
individuals,
okay.
but they're just
The mom
mostly,
is already like
yeah,
super high level.
yeah.
So,
But I've met a couple of people where, they're really just unknowns. They're just, regular folks. But, when you have these kind of conversations with them, you'll be like, damn, like, I was like, I would love to have a coffee with you in, years from now, and just to, hear more of your
yeah.
life story,
Yeah.
because, their life story, or what they think and how they articulate things, drives me to do more,
Mm,
right? And then
understand.
when you have your inspiration tank in your body is like depleted, you go out and talk to them again and have a
True.
coffee,
Yes, yes,
and then
yes.
you refill that,
Yes.
and then you go again.
Yes.
I have a few of those
Oh, that
circles
is
in my
good.
friends.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I see
yeah,
these kind of
yeah,
personalities
yeah,
indeed.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's good. That's good. It's not superheroes per se, but it's inspirational
Yeah,
people. So
inspirational people, just the way that they talk,
yeah, yeah.
and they're not always there to tell you about inspirational stuff. This is how I live my life. No, it's just having coffee with them, talking about, global things or things you've done recently, and the way you see them visually. inputting what you're saying and then their output of what they tell you, then that process that happens in their mind, some people you can see it in their face, like how they are thinking about processing about what to tell you or how to talk about certain things, just creates that wow, like, I wish I could articulate like you, because that for me would, really sort of, I think, because communication is key, in any circumstances, right? Whether, even just communication to your own self as well, right? Like, how do you
True.
talk about,
True.
Everyone does this, right? Everyone talks to themselves, or
Yeah.
maybe it's just me, but
No, no, I
everyone,
reassure you, it's not just you.
everyone talks to themselves, right? In their quiet space, whether you're
Yes.
driving or,
Yes.
in the bathroom and stuff, everyone talks to themselves. So that communication part is very key. So I always find, like, it's very interesting to talk to people who, and especially within the circles that I have, I'm blessed to have very good circles, that people who are, able to do that articulation really well. And that inspires me, right? And then you drive and you move, you use that tank that you have in your body to do things. So
I
yeah.
like this image of the tank to be filled
Yeah,
with
yeah, yeah.
inspiration.
Everyone has it,
Yeah, yeah,
So it's just that you got to know when to recharge, right? If you're
yes,
depleted and you're still trying to do, you may cause frustrations to others because you yourself can't run the mile. Don't ask the rest to do it, right? Because you as a leader, you got to do it on your own. But it also applies in at home, right? So me and my wife, we've been married for about coming to 4 years soon, and we've been trying to have a kid, and we're going through all these challenges. So sometimes you just got to know when to, like, take it on a
yes,
break,
yes.
and then you run again rather than constantly running. So it applies to everything, work, life, family, yeah, friends, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
you got to know your own self, like
yeah,
so
yeah.
you define your tank, so what drives you as a person is very important. If inspirational is things that drives you, reading a book and stuff fills up your tank, then your body is like, needs to be filled up by inspirational stories.
True.
But if you are like a driven person and very motivated on certain things, then you need to have different people who drive you. It's just like in a car, you have, some cars are petrol, some cars are diesel, some cars are hybrid
True.
or electric. You got to know what fills you up. So I think the best advice I could give is just, you really got to understand your own self first. What drives you, what motivates you, what fills you up, and then pursue that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. Now, less deep than that. What is your greatest extravagance? Something you are indulging into,
Oh, uh, hmm.
if you have any.
I don't think it's no. Are there any examples though of, like,
Yeah,
like
so I had people saying a lot actually in
okay,
this
okay.
ecosystem. They in extravagance was around arts. I'm a singer, I'm a guitar
Oh,
player, I have a
jeez,
band,
I am not a talented person at
Yeah, yeah,
all.
no, so that would be something. Others were into specific luxury goods.
Yeah,
Me, for instance, I could tell right now if I'm thinking about an extravagance as in a good
yeah,
would be I'm playing a lot of tennis.
yeah.
So
Oh,
I
great,
offered
nice.
myself a year and a half ago a tennis ball machine that is quite
Mm,
expensive.
mm,
Usually it's for coaching and all.
mm.
That could be. It's
So
very grounded
I,
as well.
I've, I, okay, so I've maybe got two things that I can probably share. So one is, I'm still a kid at heart, and as boys or men, we're still just, now that we're earning and we have a career, we're just kids with money.
Yeah, yeah.
So we tend to buy really silly things. So I'm a sucker for all this, little mini tech gadget stuff, and they
Okay.
don't cost a lot,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but my Shopee list and Lazada
Yeah,
list,
you would find a lot there.
oh my god, like, it's just ridiculous. And my
That place
wife,
to be like this.
my wife just, every day you're picking up a parcel.
Yeah,
Every day
yeah,
you're
yeah,
picking up a
yeah.
parcel, and they're small, they're slightly big, and I play them with around for a while and I chuck it away. So yeah, my a couple of cupboards that I have are just filled with nonsense of
Funny.
this
Yeah,
little
yeah,
tech
yeah.
stuff, and I think I spent quite a fair bit of money if I compile all of them.
Interesting.
The other part is not really like tangible in the money sense of
Yeah.
point of view, but I think I'm quite proud to have been able to unlock this. And I can very much get someone to be in a very comfortable position very quickly, and to sort of also, like, in a way, like what you do in the podcast, to get them to uncover things that maybe they never thought about it. So I think, like, one of the traits that I'm really quite proud of is just being able to sort of talk to people
Yeah.
and get them to open up.
Yeah.
and build that relationship.
Mhm.
I think it's just because of the way that I've been brought up and the life, environment that
Sure,
you were
sure.
in before. And then you are surrounded by great people, so you know what inspires you and fills you up. And having that is, I think, a really good advantage, not just personally, but also in work. Relationships with my clients. Some of them are, CEOs of huge MNCs, but when I have a conversation with them, like within the 5 to 10 minutes, right, I've heard some of them be like, Jeff, like, you're truly like, inspiring, and like, you know
Mm,
what, we should have, catch up, coffee, things
nice.
like that. Like being able to build that bond very
Yep,
quickly
yep,
with
yep.
someone, I think is something that I'm quite proud of that I have it. But it's just what I
Okay.
guess,
So
fuels
you're
me. Yeah.
what do we call that? A people's
Yeah,
person.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Very much
Oh,
a
that is
people
good. That
person.
is good.
Having said that, though, I still consider myself an introvert.
I
Um,
don't think it's
so it's
contradictory.
yeah. So I think like there's again, it's like a tank that you have in the system. And I know some introverts who are like this as well. They will be on stage. They will be an MC, for example,
Mm-hmm.
for an event. 300, 400 people. Not a problem. They'll talk about it. And I've done those things, right? But as soon as you're off stage, you're in a quiet
Different. Yeah,
area.
yeah.
Don't talk to me. I just want to be on my own, and you're
Yes.
just like like recharging yourself.
Yeah.
It happens to me all the time.
Mm.
After this podcast, I'm probably gonna be in a cafe somewhere
Yes, yes,
quiet,
to
just
cool
to
down.
like
Yes,
like
yes,
there's a
yes.
lot of energy,
Understand.
focused on Vanessa. But I think it's only fair for anyone to do those things because you've got meetings later on and
Sure,
stuff, right? So
sure.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, interesting. I wouldn't bet that you would be an introvert now.
Yeah, most
So,
people say that's nonsense, Jeff. Like,
yeah, yeah.
you're an extrovert. And I know you will never see me outside at night without any purpose.
Mm,
Would never be in
interesting.
a bar or in a restaurant somewhere without any like specific purpose. Unless I'm with like my wife, which is a
Mm.
purpose, right? I'm
Yeah,
taking my wife out
yeah,
for a dinner and stuff. But other than that, you will never see me. I'm at home.
yeah,
I'm at
yeah,
home
yeah.
recharging.
But actually, in that ecosystem, I'm not sure if it's linked to the ecosystem or what, but there are quite many
Yeah,
so-called introverts
yeah,
that go much beyond the limits of introvert because
yeah,
they have to
yeah,
and doing well.
yeah.
But indeed, if you go deeper, you understand that it's not a
Mm,
comfort zone. And,
yeah.
so I don't know if it's linked to the ecosystem or something, but I have observed that. Yeah. So,
Interesting. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, maybe the engineer side,
Yeah. Good to
of
know
the
I'm not
ecosystem.
alone anyway.
Yeah, I don't think so. I can tell you. That doesn't mean, again, that
Yeah.
those people are not nice to connect with,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that they are not able to connect.
Yeah.
In actual fact, it's really fun to be around them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
as you say, it might be just a way to behave, which is
Mm.
at some point you need your space,
Yeah. Yeah.
not in the moment sharing with them,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
So that's why I think we don't really see them
Mm.
like this.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't bet they would be introverts
Yeah.
for most of them, but
Yeah.
deep down you know it.
Yeah.
All right. And now, what is your current state of mind right now or in general in this
Oh,
period of time?
current state of mind, very much. I think I'm on like if I'm a vehicle, I think I'll give analogies like that because sometimes it's hard for me to explain
Yeah.
in English. I mean, I don't have the best of vocabularies. But I think if I was a vehicle that's probably the maximum speed is like 200 kilometers an hour with fifth gear and stuff. I'm probably at the fourth gear, 150
Okay,
kilometers an
that's
hour,
not
so
too
about like
bad.
80%
Yep.
of being able to go full speed
Yep.
ahead. Because there are a few things that are in a way that you're thinking about that's maybe holding you back. So, but I'm still pretty much more on the optimistic side and very driven side of the highway. And I think really looking forward to next year personally and private life and also with work, and just the environment, the ecosystem, the world around and stuff. And I think there's a lot of positive things to look forward to, and it goes back to I don't really have any fear
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah.
I'm not really thinking about the dark side of things, and I think there's just a lot to look forward to. So I'm currently my state of mind, and it has been for the last 2 or 3 years, is just really optimistic.
Nice.
Yeah, we could really do things, and I think being able to meet people like yourselves who are truly inspiring and others around, I think it's just so good to expand the ecosystem, the horizon. When we're a certain age, you tend to be a bit smaller in your group, and
Mm-hmm.
it's really hard to sort of meet people,
Yeah.
like-minded people. But honestly, in the last 3 4 years, I've been really blessed to have been able to meet people that I'm expanding my social
Nice.
circles
Nice.
and expanding it in a way where these are all people who are contributing to helping me to fill up my own tank
Yeah.
to do better, to
Yeah.
do more. So yeah, I think I'm really looking forward to more of those. Yeah,
That's nice.
yeah.
Okay. Now, what do you consider the most overrated virtue?
Hmm. Hmm. Ooh.
Yeah, I know this one is tough. It's not every single day you have this conversation in your head
Yeah,
before
I
sleep.
don't. Yeah. Oh, overrated virtue.
Maybe to give
Mm.
you not a hint, but maybe some ground to find a response. Quite recently, the Revolut CEO,
Mm-hmm.
founder, he said that kindness at work was so overrated for him. For instance,
Mm-hmm.
it's a bit extreme this one,
Mm-hmm.
but
I can see
maybe
where
it's
he's
food for
probably
thought.
going. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can understand different people would have some, I guess with explanation and all, it probably
Yeah,
makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
out of context here,
Yeah,
of
of course,
course.
of course. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. But overrated virtue. It's tough because I don't tend to. Mm,
Or maybe you're so optimistic and peaceful that you
Probably.
don't
I
really
think
think.
sometimes maybe just being too optimistic is also somewhat overrated,
Okay,
maybe
yeah.
perhaps.
The American way, like everything is great every
Yeah,
single
yeah, yeah, yeah,
kind of
yeah.
world.
I think sometimes you could be shrouded and be confused with just overconfidence, maybe
Understand.
perhaps. But I mean, it feels like it's coming to me is the more I sort of like mull it in my head, because it's not something that you talk about it every day,
No,
right?
I told you.
I think yeah, so I can see why these kind of questions was like 150 like years
Yes,
ago and so
yes, because we don't have time
because
anymore to reflect like this, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why I think
yeah,
it's even more interesting that I'm asking those questions to those people in the tech
yeah,
ecosystem,
yeah,
because I think this is the least place
yeah,
where you can afford to spend time on
yeah,
yourself.
yeah. You know, I it may not be the most overrated virtue in my opinion, but it's just something that's just coming in my
Sure.
head recently. Just the idea of like worshiping someone, like
Mm,
like an idol that you have,
yeah,
or like celebrities or politicians or CEOs that you tend to see when they walk, and they're surrounded by
true,
bodyguards, and
true,
people want to go and take a
true,
photo,
true.
shake hands with them, and and I really just bleh.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
dude, like, come on.
It's too much.
It's too much,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So unless it's like like a royalty, and like if for example, like if like Princess Diana, for
yeah,
example,
yeah,
right,
yeah.
the late Princess Diana, right, you'll be like, wow, like you're in
Sure,
the presence of greatness
sure,
because of what she's done,
sure.
and how she's really impacted the humanity and
Yeah,
the things that she does, right? But if it's like, no offense to the CEOs that are watching this, but if you're a CEO of a, profit making company, and you have people like that, and or you want people to sort of, I'm like, well, like, I don't really quite
yeah,
get
yeah.
that part. And it happens a lot in Asia. We have
True,
this culture
true,
of
true.
hierarchy. Yeah, so you can only sit down when the CEO steps into the same room, and then he sits down, you sit down. If there's a
That is so
dinner,
true.
like you can't eat until the CEO sort of like eats first and stuff, and
Yeah.
I'm like, like, huh?
I'm happy to hear that from an Asian guy,
Yeah,
actually,
yeah, I'm
because
like, what? Like, that doesn't make sense to
yeah,
me. So yeah, I feel these kind of virtues that we have, maybe it's a cultural thing, it's an Asian thing. It's kind of, it's yeah, it's just something a bit strange.
understand.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm Malaysian, as you rightly pointed out. So sometimes my belief of certain things on how things should be run and done, it's a bit controversial. But again, I've been blessed to have visited close to what, like 20 different countries around the world, and I think I've seen enough to know that we're all made from the same, skin, and
yeah,
the same type of, human beings. Anyways, it's just I think we just need to be more true to who we are, and I think if we can sort of, do that, it's fine to admire a person, but to put on a literal red carpet, and they're like worship like gods because they're just a CEO of a
yeah,
company and
yeah,
stuff, and all, it's a bit strange to
yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah.
I've actually also been witness some chairmans and board of directors that of huge, they're so humble, and I'm like, that's a breath of fresh air for
True,
me
true,
because
true.
they're just like every other, they'll ask you about how's life and how's things, and then remember the next time like they meet you, like, hey Jeff, like, how's family, how's things with your
That
wife,
is
all
true.
good and stuff, and like that's the kind of people that
Yeah,
you would want to
yeah,
admire,
yeah.
not someone that I've and then you see them with bodyguards and all and taking photos and all, it's like, what this photo is going to do to
Mm,
me, it doesn't inspire me.
true.
But yeah, I think
I
having them
understand.
to be able to reach out to you, that for me will be great. Yeah.
Okay.
So
No doubt that you are actually working with French people.
yeah.
I feel you have the right level of
Directness.
culture, yeah,
Yeah.
culture
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
questioning,
Yeah.
and okay,
Yeah.
that is good. All right. Now the next question is: on what occasion do you lie? Do you cheat? But small, big.
Oh, what occasion do you lie or cheat? Wow, I don't really. Mm, I think probably sometimes when you're trying to, this is more on a work side of things. I think maybe when you're trying to achieve some things, and you know that maybe it's a bridge too far,
Hmm.
and you're trying to rally up the team, and you're gonna cross the bridge with them to try and get there, but it's a bit of a daring step.
Yeah.
Even for you as the leader,
Yeah.
it's a bit of a bold
Yeah.
step. So at times, then I hope none of my team is listening to this, but at times, then you tend to comfort them in certain ways to
Yes.
tell
Yes.
them that actually the bridge is half built already. We just got to do a little bit more, but
Yeah.
it's still.
It's more motivational
Yeah, yeah, but
approach, let's say.
when you go back and you're like, oof, if we can't achieve this, can't do this, and then yeah, you got a lot of explaining to do, kind of
Yeah.
thing. But that's the responsibility of being a leader and stuff.
Sure.
So sometimes you would do those things, and I think that's the only area that where I would say probably I may have like not cheat or lie, but you would have masked the certain
Yeah.
truth in order to get the output that you
Yeah.
desire and to have. And that is just because you deal with people who may not have the appetite to do it, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Fair enough.
yeah,
In this ecosystem, I think a lot of people would do this.
yeah, yeah,
Not everyone is driven,
yeah, yeah,
visionary,
yeah, yeah.
seeing
Because
the global picture and
all
able
right,
to revert back to today and do the effort and see the steps and still be there.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I think it's pretty
Yeah, their
widespread.
appetite might be different. I mean,
Yeah,
their purpose and why they're there is all could be very
exactly.
different. So
Exactly.
how do you sort of motivate them? And then sometimes you may just tend to use
Yeah.
these, techniques
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that I'm
Yeah. I think
sure.
it's just a technique,
Yeah,
really.
it's just a
Yeah.
technique. I'm sure someone's written about it in a book. So yeah.
Probably. All right. Now, what do you most dislike about your appearance, if anything?
Appearance. Oh, wow.
And you could say nothing, which is fine. Doesn't mean you're
That's a bit
showing
of
off
a.
here.
It's like, yeah, look amazing. No, no,
No,
no.
no, that wouldn't mean that
Uh,
would be again, you're at peace with yourself and it's great.
appearance wise, so not necessarily I would love to change. I think we're just born the way that we are. I think sometimes when you wake up, and I'm sure many people would have experienced this. Sometimes when you wake up, you just feel ugly
Mm.
for no apparent
Yeah,
reason.
there's days like this.
And then
Yeah.
you just sometimes you wake up, you're like, damn, like you look fire today.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so it actually
That's
then
true.
comes down to just the mindset and the state of mind that you're at this point of time.
Correct.
So the aura that you have, I think that in itself is more critical. So yeah, sometimes I get up in the morning, get ready, look myself in the mirror, and you feel pumped up, and you have like, wow, like you look smart and
Yeah.
sharp in the suit
Yeah.
and stuff and all. But then when you go through the day and you deal with a lot of like difficulties and your energy levels down or your
Yeah.
morale is down, and then when you go into the restroom and you look yourself in the mirror, and then you just feel like, my God, I need a haircut. Then you have a lot of issues with your
Because it's
appearance,
in the mind
but
here.
it's all in the
Yeah.
mind,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So
Correct.
I remember at one point of time I wanted to like just grow out the beard, and I thought it really looked cool. And then at one point of time when I remember going through days of like difficulties, and then I looked myself in the mirror. It's like, my God, I look like a homeless person at this point in time. But I survived it for like 2 weeks of just
Yeah.
being like, fully bearded. And I
Yeah.
thought it looked cool. Look, one of those like, cultured, artistic
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
people. But the mind then plays a different image.
Correct.
So yeah, so I think nothing really appearance that I would love to change. Is
Yeah.
just at this
In the
point in time
mind.
feel good.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And
all
that's
good. Yeah,
perfectly okay.
yeah.
All right. Now, this question, we need to rephrase it every time it's like this. So,
Mhm.
this one I think is coming from the real questionnaire. Which living person do you most despise? So, despise, first of all, in our society is a big word. I
Yeah.
don't think we despise anyone
No.
anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And two, publicly, even less. So,
Yeah.
I would rephrase it to which kind of person do you really not feel comfortable around?
Oh, yeah. I've had a few encounters of um, ex-colleagues or people within your network who are very self-centered, and yeah, generally I smell them out right now, and you
Mm.
can tell someone who's
Yeah.
self-centered. What I mean by this, also for an example I can give is in my early days in my career, I came from the creative background.
Okay.
I was actually a visual artist for TV commercials. So I used to do a lot of 3D work,
Okay.
a lot of visual effects, special effects, the before and after of a shampoo commercial. So I'll do a lot of the after shots to make
Okay.
it look more beautiful. So a lot of 3D
Nice.
elements. So I came from that creative background, from
Understand.
that arts. And in the creative process, there are a million ways for you to achieve the goal,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because it's never one set way.
Yeah. I used to need
Um,
to live and breathe with designers in
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
first
And
part of my career.
everyone is so unique and
Yeah.
different. And I remember came across a fellow peer who was teaching me on something new that I'm about to learn.
Yeah.
And throughout the end of the, I think like 15-20 minutes of demonstration, basically this person just turned around and says like, this is basically my way of doing it. It's fine if you want to copy my way. I've got no issues about
Ah,
it.
okay. Yeah,
And
yeah.
then you go
I
like,
see.
whoa, wow, like,
I see.
why? So that for me is self-centered.
Yeah, yeah. And pretty straightforward on the whole,
Yeah,
I should
yeah.
say that.
So I'm like, oof, like your way of doing it. Like, no, it's just one way of doing it. You didn't invent the way of doing it. It's just one way of doing it. And then you're like, if you want to copy it, it's fine. Like, huh?
Mm.
Like, are you taking credit before? So like those kind of things or experiences that I've had, I felt very a bit, huh? So when I talk to people who are very self-centered, when you hear the words that they use, the I, and the me, I feel a bit, huh? Like, because even for me, like, me and my team, when we started 42 Kuala Lumpur, it's only just two people, like
Mm.
me and my
Okay.
colleague. And everywhere I go, be like, oh, Jeff, like, you're doing amazing things with 42 Kuala Lumpur. And I was like, yeah, yeah, we're doing fine. We're doing great. It's always the we,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
even though my colleague is not there with me, like, he's 50% of the work,
Sure, sure.
right? So there's so much things that he's done. And now, even though we're a bigger team, we're about close to 20 people.
Okay.
But even then, people come up to me and say, oh, Jeff, like, wow, amazing stuff. And I was like, yeah, we're trying our best. It's always the we. So
Mm-hmm.
I hear people when they say the I, the
Yeah,
me, and then I'm like,
it's a
okay,
clue here.
yeah. So I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
cool, right? Even because even in family, it's a husband and wife, it's a tag team, it's a
yeah. Sure,
partnership, right? You
sure,
do things together, and what you achieve is together.
sure.
Even if say your husband wins an award or something like that, right? So let's say, for example, you see the Oscars, right? Or recently I saw the Emmys, and like Stephen Colbert won, the Emmys. First thing he did is congratulated the writers behind, right?
Mm.
Because
Sure.
he's just the face of
Yeah,
it. He's reading off a script, but the script is the
true, true,
hundreds of writers
sure.
behind. So that's that for me is like, yeah,
Right
the
mindset.
so the self-centered people, oh, I can smell them very quickly, and I run away from them as
Okay.
fast as I can.
I appreciate this. All right. So now, on a more positive note, what is the quality you most like in a man, as in gender man?
um Hmm. Not something I think most people would resonate as a man. One way a man is like, strong, powerful leader, blah, blah, blah. But I would say the opposite actually.
Okay.
I would say, you know, I have friends, male friends, guy friends, that are soft. They're I'm probably using terms without any context may sound wrong, but they're soft, they're delicate, they're emotional,
Yeah, the feminine side of
yeah.
the man.
But like for them to carry that, of course they may look like strong, 6'5" kind of thing, tough and all. But when you talk to them, when you know them as a person, then you realize, wow, like caring, warm,
Yeah.
the aura around them is very like the hues is very much on the bluish, light bluish,
Mm.
pinkish, and you feel so gentle, calm around. That's the kind of traits that I think more men should have, uh, because we're just born with the manly things anyways, right? You got to be tough, you got to be
Sure.
toughen up and stuff. But I think the world needs more males who are a bit more passionate, warmth, caring,
Mm.
because I think we have a role and
Yeah.
responsibility to lead, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think it's pretty much like a global trend
yeah,
that men try to embrace their full
yeah,
personality,
yeah,
but
yeah.
still the journey is long because, as you're saying, they still are cultural remainder
Mm,
in the background.
yeah,
So you don't
yeah.
change overnight a generation
No,
around
no,
being super tough and powerful and the guy in the room
yeah,
to actually you can still be that, but there's so much more to you.
yeah,
And same for us,
yeah, yeah,
women.
yeah,
So
yeah.
indeed. So now the question is the same for women. What is it that the
Oh,
quality you must like in a woman? If it's different, if it's
wow, for women. I mean, I'm just observing this from like seeing my mom and like my wife, and the really amazing women around me. I've been surrounded by women throughout my whole life, more women than men
mm-hmm.
basically. Yeah, because I didn't have a father figure, so my mom and my aunts, my sister, and then when my brother passed away, it was just my sister and my mom. So really just with surrounded with a lot of like women, strong women leaders. So I think yeah, I I I really am in admiration when I see, like, for example, like my wife. When the first time I met her, it's just that driven side of things. They are strong in that sense. So it's like the opposite of what you would want in a female.
Yeah,
Like what I mentioned, the men should show more of
yeah,
the female characteristics, while women was show more of the male characteristics. But that's not entirely it. It's just more of having that in them as they lead their life. They're a bit more certain on things. They're really passionate about doing it, but doing it in their way, in the female way. Don't try to be a man,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
because
yeah,
you're
yeah.
not, right. Don't try
True.
to be a man and stuff, right. I think doing it in the more female way. Female leads more on here,
Yeah,
men more lead
yeah,
here, but
correct.
having that balance is the
Yeah,
sweet spot.
trying to push
mm,
the cursor
mm,
on each
mm.
gender a little bit more. Yeah,
Yeah, so I think when I'm blessed to have met some women entrepreneurs, and yeah, like when you just have a conversation and you're like, man, like such an inspiration, right. And I mean, whether they're male or female, they're just inspiration. But why they become inspirational is because as a female they trade those little things.
yeah,
And I have someone within my like social circle, who she used to run a few businesses and stuff, and then she exited. Now she's doing some empowerment within the youth to get them to be more tech savvy and stuff.
mm,
And sometimes I have lunch with her like once every quarter or so. And we just talk about, business and stuff like that and all. But yeah, like, how she just leads and drives her team. And when I hear how she had this situation before and how she did that, and she's just so, sharp, direct, precise.
yeah,
And now, like, wow, like more people, not just women, more people should just,
yeah. At the
have
end of the
that.
day, what I hear is
Yeah.
like it's like a human
Yeah.
behavior.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be a bit of this, be a bit of that,
Yeah. Yeah.
be more full
Yeah, and
wherever
I
you are
think,
from.
yeah, so the best way to do is just be more open to learning.
Yeah,
Don't close the door.
yeah,
Should always learn, even if you're, PhD holder and you're a CEO or a board of director, a chairman. You always have to be able to have a door that is enabling you to learn new things. So if
yeah.
you have that door open, I think then you're just generally a better person at the
Mm,
end. So
good one. Now, which words or phrases do you most overuse if you are aware of it?
I have no
No
idea.
idea, right? I think it's a tough question, this one.
Words or phrase?
Yeah.
Wow. I really don't know on this one. I think my colleagues and my wife would probably give you an answer. I probably don't. Yeah.
That's okay. We're passing then. What or who is the greatest love of your life?
Greatest love of my life is of course my wife and my mom, my sister. So the three, again, are all women. The
Yeah.
three that I have surrounding me. Yeah, I think you constantly think of them, what you can do for them, how you can and I think it's also because the way that they drive you, like like, and my wife drives me on a very different sense or purpose. my mom will put that driven nature in me for a very different purpose, because I'm her son. My wife is because I'm her husband and we
Mm-hmm.
have a whole future. My sister is because I'm, the brother, the only brother now
Yeah.
that she has, and
Yeah.
I play that role. So everyone is, in a way,
Sure.
inspiring me
Sure.
or driving me in a different. So they're all like the love of my life. But I think I also am truly much in love with what I do, in my day to day. Um, and that's just because I see the impact that I have on people with the education with 42, having, to train people where they don't have a high school certificate, come into our school and then get a job, earn 5, 6,000 ringgit, and then 6 to 8 months later they buy their first car, and then the first person that they want to sit in their car is is us, the 42 staff,
Yeah. Yeah.
not their parents.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They collect their car. Like it happened before, 2 years ago or so. Like a student of ours who graduated got a job, and a few months later bought a Proton, no, Perodua Beza. Not a It's an entry level car, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a huge success for
Yeah. Yeah.
someone like
Yeah.
him. And bought a Perodua Beza, collected the car, and the first place he came wasn't home. It was the campus, was
Right.
42 campus,
That
and
must be fulfilling.
yeah, and came into it, and I was like, hey, what are you doing here? And it's like, I just bought a car. I want to take you all for a ride. And I was like, wow, cool, congrats. And it's like, how's your parents? Like, and he's like, oh, my parents don't know yet. Like, they haven't seen the car. And I'm like, what do you
Mm.
mean? And it's like, I just collected the car from the showroom, and the first place I came is the campus because I want to take you guys out for a drive.
Wow.
When you have people like that, you'll be just like, wow, I had that impact in your
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
So for me, like, yeah, I mean, people aside, the work that I do is truly just the love of,
Yeah.
like,
I
yeah.
understand. Yep. That makes a lot of sense. Now, when and where were you the happiest?
When and where I was the happiest? Probably the day I met my wife. Of course, the day that we got married. But being a bit, I wouldn't say superficial, but probably a lame answer is, I think I strive to make sure that the day is today. So I rarely wake up with a grumpy face, with
Mm.
and anger, and like, like, even if I have like a board meeting up and coming and I know I'm like under fire, under pressure, I always have this thing, is like, what's the worst that could happen, right? Like, what are they gonna do, right? Like, even if they're angry or they're upset about things, it's just gonna drive you to do better and to
Yeah.
motivate, and
Yeah.
just and if you're not capable of doing it, learn and be better and improve, right? So yeah, I think I don't really look back. I always look forward. So it's a bit hard. So of course those big moments. And of course, if I have a chance to experience being a dad, I think that would probably top it all off in
Yeah.
in the world. But until that day comes, I'm sure it's just every day just try to aspire to be that. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. And wishing you the best of luck
Thank
for
you.
that.
Yeah.
I've been there, not easy.
Yes. Yeah.
Which talent would you most like to have? We were hinted on it
Wow.
earlier.
Talent. Man, yeah. And you say I've hinted on it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, at some point when I was on the extravagance question,
Yeah,
we were
yeah.
saying, oh, some said my extravagance is singing or playing an
Yeah,
instrument, some
yeah.
doing this. And he said, oh, no, 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 I don't
Like,
have such a
but I
talent.
don't aspire to be able to be really good in the guitar
Ah,
and
okay.
things like that. I really don't, because I think it's like, yeah,
You've dropped
let
the
let
idea.
let others have that talent. I'm
I
fine,
understand, understand.
I
There are battles
admire
not to
it.
fight.
Yeah, yeah, I admire it, but yeah, I don't want to have that talent. I don't think I
Understand.
pursue that. I don't Probably doesn't fit me. Um I think actually, you know what? If I had an ability to probably tick another box of what I would want to have, um, it's probably just being able to read faster in a book,
Mm,
complete it faster, because I take way too long, and sometimes don't even finish the book. Like I can count with one hand how many books I've read from start to end.
okay.
And I can't count how many books I've bought and just never completed it, never even finished the first chapter. Sometimes just
Mm,
life takes over. So I find that very frustrating. And then sometimes I question myself, am I dyslexic? Because, like, sometimes when I read, it's just, all over my head.
understand.
So I have all those kind of problems and challenges, but I love the texture of the books, going
Mm,
to a
yeah.
bookstore, and, now with the advent of like ChatGPT, I actually take a photo of the book, and my chat GPT knows so much about me because I've used it
Yeah,
so
yeah. I'm in
often,
the case, same
and
case.
I'm always giving it input as like my assistant in a
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
So it really knows about Jeff as the CEO of 42
Mm-hmm.
Malaysia, right? Not so much as my own personal because I don't really share much, but Jeff as the CEO of 42
Yeah.
Malaysia, how I built the company, my staff and my team, and the purpose, the nature. So it knows a lot. So every time I take a photo of a book, and I was like, would this book help me? Based on what you know of me,
Mm. Oh, that's
did you
interesting.
know, like, does this book help me,
Yeah.
right? And then it'll give you like, oh, this page, it knows so much, like this page in a book will truly resonate with you, and true enough it does that. So
Mm.
nowadays I use ChatGPT to just sort of like, I know I can't read the book from end to end, but I'm just going to know like what page I should read
Yeah,
because it knows
yeah,
a lot
yeah,
about me. So
yeah.
I use AI for those
Nice.
purposes.
Did I
um
hear well that you are saying he for ChatGPT? Because I thought I was the only one to do that.
oh,
You
okay.
said he, right?
No, no, I don't know. Maybe I
I
did. I
think
know.
I
Yeah,
think you
okay.
did.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, using
Because you
using
have this connection,
yeah,
like
yeah,
you're
yeah, yeah.
reusing it
Yeah, yeah.
a lot.
So I feel like if I had the talent to actually just read from start to end, if I travel, like sometimes I take long flights and being
Yeah,
able to read a
yeah,
book from end to
yeah.
end, it'll be great. Yeah. And sometimes I have huge optimistic. I'm gonna bring this book on the plane, and then you get into the plane and it's like, okay, I'm gonna read it after the meal. And then after the meal, you're
Yeah.
knocked out for 2 hours, and then
Yes.
you wake up and it's like, I've got no
Yeah, yeah,
time to
yeah.
read
I
this
know
book
this
now.
feeling as well. Yes,
It's
yes.
just like
Lots of objective for your flight, and then nothing is hit.
nothing gets
Nothing
done
is.
in the plane because you're
Yes,
just recharging yourself, right?
completely,
So I
completely
wish
true.
I wish I had the talent to, like, I've seen some people who can read and really sort of have a lot of knowledge based on
Mm.
it. But
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I wish maybe as a talent just being able to
yeah,
read more, complete a book more, that would be really cool.
yeah.
Mm.
There are apps for it, but that doesn't compare it to being the one to read it through
Yeah, yeah,
entirely.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
completely
yeah.
appreciate. All right. Now, if you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
Mm. If I could change one thing about myself, so it's funny because in the when I was growing up, and because I grew up from like a difficult upbringing, I used to be very superficial. Where like, oh, I wish I was born into a different family. Wish I was born into different circumstances. Or I wish like both like my mom and dad were like earning the big bucks and stuff, right? Not my dad was like hardly earning anything, and I have to only rely on my mom who was earning less than 1,000 ringgit a month, and to raise three kids. Like, oh, why? And I see my friends having
Mm,
everything,
yeah,
Nintendos and PlayStations and stuff, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't even have a computer, and like it's like, wow, what a life, right? But now I think if you ask me, like, what would I really change, just because I realized like having that is actually a privilege. The fact that I didn't have all of those is actually a privilege because now I'm a person because of that, right?
true. It made
Probably
you.
if my parents were like really well to do and stuff and all, I would probably be a failure.
Mm.
Just because I just didn't have the drivenness in me.
It's certainly because of that that you are
Yeah,
so driven,
yeah,
indeed.
yeah. So I think right now, if you ask me, like, I think I wouldn't really change anything. I think it's just you just gotta embrace the unknowns. Take it on head on first. I think you gotta really be brave to face those things. I wouldn't really change nothing physically, nothing mentally. Nothing within family. I mean, of course, would love to be a dad, but I'm sure that will happen again. So it's not that I
Mm.
would change it.
Yeah,
I keep telling my wife it's just our journey.
yeah,
It's our story.
yeah.
Of course, some people have different difficulties. Some are like really easy,
Hmm.
but that's their journey. That's their
Yeah,
story. So when it happens for us, we have our story because everyone has it, right? Like we've met so many friends who told us like, oh, they've been trying for 10 years or five
yeah,
years,
yeah.
and and then some like, oh, the day after we got married and things like that. So I said that's their story. So
Sure,
what we're crafting is we're crafting our story.
sure.
So I wouldn't change anything because then I don't know what the outcome of the story would be, because I'm not the kind of person where I just want to, if you're watching a Netflix series, I don't just want to watch the finale
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
know the output. I like to go through
Yeah,
that journey,
understand. Yeah,
and then I know like the output is like, for me and my wife, we know what the output's going to be. For me and my work, I know what the output's going to be. And let's just work towards that,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah, it's the journey that we'll take on our
yeah.
own. Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Now, what do you consider your greatest achievement?
Wow. Okay. So I think I have an answer for this. This is me who came from the difficult upbringings, the lack of opportunity to pursue higher education. So fun fact, I actually don't have a degree. I never stepped foot in a university.
Okay.
I only have a diploma in multimedia design, which is totally irrelevant at this point of time. And even that diploma, it was a 2 year course, but I only did it for a year and a half because the half year was an internship,
Mhm.
which I was at, as soon as I finished my SPM, the high school certificate here in Malaysia, I started working as a waiter in a cafe in KLCC just to earn some money. And then after that, the intake for my diploma program it wasn't even a college, it was an academy in a shop lot in PJ. So I took up that course because I was very much into the creative arts. And then I started picking up some freelance jobs because my late brother he used to tell me that in your career as like a graphic designer or web designer, portfolio matters a lot
Mhm.
rather than a
Mhm.
qualification. So what I did was he also was like kind enough to give me some jobs that he will outsource it to me. So simple things like brochures,
Yeah.
flyers, some visual stuff that some ads on
Yeah.
their TV screens and stuff like. So I used to do all of those as part of like just me earning some money here and there while I'm doing my diploma. So then when came during the internship time, I didn't have to do it because I told my lecturer I already actually working
Yeah.
in freelance. Can I
Yeah.
just use that? He's like, yeah, sure. You just get an employer to sign it off. So I completed within a year and a half, and I just started working then. And my work was brutal because it was like Saturday, Sunday, and because Monday you have a deadline with the
Yeah.
clients, you
Yeah.
just work and
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. The word of agency, creative
I
agency,
bring
is
my
not for
toothbrush over
everyone.
to I mean yeah, so like nowadays when I look at people who say, "Oh my work is tough," and I was like, "Have you ever brought a toothbrush to your office, knowing that you're gonna
Mhm.
spend the whole week there and never go home?" Like
Mhm.
that was tough for me, right? So I've I've been blessed that I've gone through all of those. So the thing that going back to your question, what I'm most proud of is the fact that me not having a degree or an MBA, not knowing anything about business and stuff and things like that, being able to find my footing and being part of the creative arts industry first, and then into the visual effects, and then into the production, so a bit more of business side, then into media with BFM, as a producer, presenter, climbing up the ranks, building up the ecosystem of entrepreneurship. And then after that, getting an opportunity to build 42 Kuala Lumpur. I was the first employee hired when Sunway brought in the license. And then I had my colleague with me, Tila, who's my now currently director of learning, but he was like my, the second person in charge kind of thing. The two of us together, we were building that up. And now when I look back, I'm like, damn, in 5 years, like 5 years ago, we started with nothing.
Mm.
We now have three campuses, like close to 20 staff, close to 600 over people that have been impacted with our program. And we've, not only that, as a free education model, we've also raised, you know, close to upwards of like 10 million ringgit in like revenue to operate this campus. Being a free school, we're still able to generate revenue and stuff. And when I go around and I was like, damn, I think I do better than some degree, MBA, PhD
Yeah.
holders
Yeah.
because you tell me how else can you run a free school and still bring in a revenue of close to like 10 million ringgit over a period of 5 years, of course, but it's free. Remember, we don't charge anything
Mhm.
to a
Mhm.
student, but yet we're able to do that. How? And I think it's just that the fact that I'm blessed with an environment that encourages me and allows me to do it. But I'm honestly, personally, I'm super proud of myself of what I've been able
Yeah.
to achieve in five
I
years.
can see. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. That was quite a journey indeed.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
all right, make a lot of sense. Now, if you were to die and come back as a person or a thing,
Hmm.
what would it be?
As a person, I wouldn't change. I would love to live the life again.
Okay.
Go through the same, difficulties that I had. Only because I think the one thing I would do is, maybe when I was younger, and with my family, like with my mom, and going through the hardship and all, and I would probably just pat her back and say, "It's like, don't worry, actually things will be super
Yeah.
fine."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like just do it with a smile because back then it was just like, oh my god, like like, it's like you see your mom's crying and things like that. So you're just so worried about what the future entails. But if I had a chance to live it all over again, I think I'll probably just be myself. But as a kid, I'll be like just bouncing around the room and I'm like, it's fine, guys. I've
Yes,
seen the future.
yeah, yeah.
It's good. It's
I
good.
appreciate. Yeah,
It's totally
it's
good.
quite reassuring
Yeah,
somehow.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
it's totally good, mom. Like, this is just a phase. It
yeah.
will go, you'll be fine, you'll live a good life, and there will be difficulties, like I lost my brother, in like 8 years ago and stuff, and it's difficult. We had those room, but at the end of the day, we'll still be fine.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
we'll still have a good life. We got, a nice house, we live in, a nice environment. Yeah, so I think as a person I wouldn't change.
Mm,
Um
nice.
I would, as a thing, I'm into cars. Like, I love cars. And I think, if I have ever a chance to, if God is like, oh, you can't live as your own self. So you got to choose as a thing. I'll probably be one of, like, these exotic supercars or hypercars
Hmm.
being treated in, a nice garage that are
Nice.
super clean and
Yeah.
people take care of you. And
So now it's not pet care
yeah,
anymore. We're talking about that before.
yeah,
It's car care.
yeah,
It's
car
that kind
care.
of
Yeah, yeah. I
environment. Yeah,
would
yeah.
like. I'm such a car freak, and yeah,
Nice.
yeah. I think yeah. So, but yeah, as a person, I wouldn't
That is,
change.
okay.
Yeah,
That is an interesting answer. Now, where would you most like to live? Can be a specific place or a kind of place.
yeah. I've so like I said, I think earlier, I've been in close to more than 20 countries. I've been around the world. I've been really blessed in my previous work as a journalist or producer, presenter. Um, I would say Malaysia is truly, honestly, I mean, because it's a home biasness. I grew up here. Malaysia is such a beautiful place to live in,
Hmm.
to grow up in. Of course, there's everywhere there's challenges, but if I had a chance to just live for a while, not for my entire life, any of the Scandinavian countries are
Yeah,
actually wow, I think it really embodies me, like peaceful,
that
calm.
is true.
So I love, like, oh man, like when I was in Helsinki, and no, actually it wasn't in Helsinki. It was in a very northern town in Sweden. Oh my God, I can't remember the name now. But
I've
I
been
was in
close by, but I wouldn't be able to tell you here about
yeah.
was Stockholm or Malmö.
Of way,
Much
yeah,
higher. Yeah,
much
yeah.
higher, much higher. It was such a small town, population, I think, of just like 150
Okay.
people, one hotel and one bar, and that's
Very
it.
Nordic, indeed.
Very not,
Yes,
yeah, yeah,
yes,
very
yes.
not.
I've lived in
You see,
Denmark.
you
I
see
can tell.
reindeers when you're,
Yeah, yeah,
driving,
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
so it's like, wow, what a town. And I remember just, being in the bar, having a drink, and the bartender, even though he's only met me and he becomes a friend of yours, and the guy next to me becomes a friend, and was born in this place, but he had work experiences in Japan, and he came back, and then he's now part of the, the cafe or the restaurant of the hotel. Uh, and then the next morning when I woke up, and he being the chef, he prepared a special meal just for me, and I was like, wow, this is such, like, really nice. Like,
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
so warm
yeah,
for a
yeah.
country that's very cold.
Sure.
So I would love to spend, 3, 4 years of my life being in any of the Scandinavian
Hmm.
countries, experiencing a little bit more on their culture
Yeah,
and their lifestyle. I think it would really recharge me as a person
yeah.
because I am that
Understand.
type of an individual.
Yeah,
But I would still love to have Malaysia as the home, or as the place that that I get buried 6 feet underground will be,
yeah,
I hope
yeah,
will be in Malaysia and
yeah.
not anywhere else.
It's very common actually across Malaysians to be
Yes, yeah,
so attached to your country. It's not
yeah,
something I have seen abroad
yeah.
necessarily,
But
but here,
actually,
yes.
it's funny because most people, or at least most Malaysians, they have this argument where they think we're not patriotic enough. And I've been guilty of that too. Like, sometimes I question, like, am I really patriotic?
Mm,
I can speak Malay, but if you ask me do a stage presentation in Bahasa, oh, I will probably crumble. I'm not
mm,
so comfortable with it. And I don't know, like, so much about the history of Malaysia. Maybe it's because the education and stuff, but at the end of the day, I think I am patriotic about the country because I would love to be, nowhere else but
yeah,
Malaysia,
yeah.
to be
Let's
buried,
start with
or,
that. Yeah.
yeah, if I were to pass on, I mean, I will, but when I do pass on, hopefully I'm in Malaysia.
Yeah.
It's just such a fantastic place to be in.
True.
Great people,
True.
and people from other countries like yourselves. Spend time here, and
Yeah. And
you
enjoy
get
it.
treated the Malaysian
Yeah.
hospitality. And my boss that I currently report to, he's been in Malaysia for more than 15 years.
Hmm.
And like he always has these things like, oh, I'm Malaysianized already, right? And I love when foreigners say that they're Malaysianized. They
Yeah.
eat nasi lemak for
Sure.
breakfast, and I'm
Sure.
like, yeah, that's great, right? And it makes me
That's
feel
true
like really
cultural
happy.
adjustment.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. Now, what is your most treasured possession?
Oh, treasured possession. So this is
Yeah,
an
it can
item,
be it
right?
can be an item or it can be
Mm.
intangible. Time, for instance, could be a possession for this ecosystem, you know?
Mm. I'm oh my god, like it's just the work or the company that I've built
Yeah.
is truly something that I, like, yeah, no one can ever sort of take that away from me. Of course, I'm just the CEO. I'm an appointed person. You can always fire me if if ever things goes really bad and stuff like that. There, or I could leave and do different things and stuff. But what I've built is truly something that I am just, very proud of. And, I think I'll always carry that with me. And that is my greatest possession
Yeah.
that I
Yeah.
have,
Makes a lot of
just
sense.
because of the team that I've built. I mean, like, I think I can say this out loud, and hopefully it doesn't backfire me in the near future. But every single one of my team, in the close to 20 people that I have, they all say indirectly or directly. Some have said directly to me, but some indirectly, that the reason why they're working here is because of they want to work with me.
Mm.
They like it's because of you, Jeff.
Yep.
Like if
Yep.
you leave, Jeff, we're all leaving.
Mm.
I'm like, what? Like that's insane. Like you can't do that. But I could see they're really sincere about like the only reason why they're here in this company, they're doing what they're doing. They love what they're doing. They love everything. But they're doing it because they're like, I love being in your team,
Yeah.
Jeff. Like,
This is no surprise to me. I was telling you, I'm a brand strategist by trade and
yeah.
expertise. And uh, a lot of my mentees, what I say is exactly that at the beginning of the venture,
Mm,
what everyone is betting on, from talents to partners and investors, is you.
yeah. Yeah.
So it's just about you.
Correct.
You know it, you don't know it, but it's just about you and
Yeah.
your personality, your drive, your
Yeah.
inspiration.
Yeah.
So no wonder.
So I think it's true, right? Because when you're building a company or a startup, I think the most important bit is, are you able to bring people with you, next to you, below you, whatever, but are they willing to run through the fire,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
If you ask them like, we got to do this, are they willing to do it,
yeah.
right? So it's very important. You got to have people who trust you in that sense, because then your board of directors will believe in it because they see it.
True, true,
Your investors will believe in it, your team believes in it,
true.
but also like the customers. So, like for us, it's our students,
Hmm.
right? Our students see it as well, right? Because
Yeah,
they're like, wow, like the whole team is so tight together, and they're like, when we have our town halls, and we do our town halls like in the open space in our lobby. And the students, they just come in and out, and they see what I'm presenting. When they see that happen, they be like, oh, that's really fun, right? You can see when Jeff is presenting, we need to achieve this. You can see the team is like rallied towards
mm,
it. They're all fighters and stuff. So I
yeah,
feel that's truly something that, wow, I'm so blessed to
yeah,
have,
yeah, yeah.
this. Of course, in my previous team with BFM, also I was super proud of being able to build a team together with Frida, my ex-colleague, to do it together with them. So yeah, I feel like, I've just really been blessed to have really good people around and teams around. So that's like possession that
Yeah,
maybe is not tangible,
yeah,
but
yeah. But that's a very
yeah,
good,
but
good
actually,
sell.
in terms of like physical element, I mean, I just recently got a new car after
There
maybe
you
like
go.
15 years of
Yeah,
not changing my
yeah.
car. My previous car was close to 500,000 kilometers in
You
mileage.
pushed it.
I've pushed it to beyond, areas where technically I should have sold it a long time ago, but I just couldn't, because sentimental values. I mean, I had real emotional attachment to the car. So when my wife's like, it's time to change, like, you really got to change the car. And I was like, okay, fine, we'll change. So it's nothing fancy. It's just, it's a Chinese made car, less than 150,000 ringgit. Nothing really fancy, but I take care of it. And my wife says, like, you're so obsessed about it. Every damn week you're like, getting something from online stores and fitting this to the car, sending the car
Ah,
to
there you
this
go. Okay, you're this
accessory
type of
shop
car
and this
lover.
and that. So I'm so obsessed. I even have like a cloth, a microfiber cloth in the car, And when, and I close the door, I see fingerprints. I'm like, wiping it. It's been a
Okay.
month old.
Yeah.
I still doing it. I don't know how
Brand
long.
new.
Okay, yeah, brand new. I don't know how, but like, just if I could hug it, I'll hug it. Yeah. So
Understood.
that's a
Yeah, yeah.
physical item.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And I hear it
Yeah.
quite a craftsman,
Yeah,
someone like this.
yeah,
So
yeah. But
it's
it's not
amazing.
like even like a fancy car,
Yeah,
It's not like
yeah.
a
It's
Porsche
just
or
the
something.
love of.
Yeah, it's like if I so I was telling my wife like my dream car is a Porsche.
Mm.
If I've oh I remember the day that the sales agent told me, "Hey Jeff, your car's ready. You can collect it tomorrow." And my current car, and I was like, "Oh my god, I couldn't sleep the whole night." I was like, "Oh,
Wow.
so excited because 15 years of driving the
Yes,
old
yes,
car, and
yes.
now I got a new car." So I was like, "Wow, so excited!" And I was like telling my wife, like a few days after, and I was like, I cannot imagine the day that if I have the opportunity to buy like a Porsche, million ringgit or things like that, and the sales agent tells me like, Jeff, you can actually collect your car tomorrow. I really don't know what I'm gonna do.
Mm.
I
Yeah,
cannot
yeah.
comprehend in my mind
Yeah,
buying a
yeah.
dream car like that, right? And like, oof, like but it's such a far-fetched dream. I have no idea how to achieve those kind of goals. When I see people driving a Porsche, I always just want to like stop them, like, can I just have coffee with you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
we need to talk, right?
Funny.
I'm pursuing things, CEO of this and that and all do my stuff. But like honestly, this is such a far end dream for me. But so I'm sure there are ways and tricks into it.
Sure.
So
One
yeah,
day
but
maybe
yeah,
you'll touch
one
that
day, well, I'm
dream,
sure
yeah?
one day I'm unlock it. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I think that's
You've
just the
upgraded already
obsession.
from 15 years
Yeah,
old to a new
yeah,
one.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
all right. Now, what do you regard as the lowest depth of misery?
The lowest day
Depth.
depth of misery.
So, really, the
Oh,
state of mind where you can't go below that. And I heard your story. So, already
mm,
your life was quite complicated,
yeah.
but still you found hope somewhere. So, I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
I think when we all will experience this one way or another when you lose a loved one.
Mm,
So you will go through cycles of
yeah,
emotions
yeah.
that you cannot explain.
Mm,
And then the worst thing is that, you will always tell people it's like you have no idea how it feels like. But actually that's not really true too. Everyone would have experiences, whether they have or haven't, or the depth that what they've had, but
yeah,
technically the feeling is still the same. So I think when you lose someone you love, it will change you forever.
mm,
That lowest point in your life is actually going to be the biggest driver and inspiration for the next stage of your life. So don't use that as an anchor to know, like, that is just where life is going to be, like just that point below, never upwards. Just know that that anchor is actually a stepping stone for you into doing something completely different, where in years to come you will never realize you had that potential in you.
understand.
So when I always have this strong belief that even if you're born rich, born poor, born with a family, or born and been without a family and things like that, and also whatever your circumstances is throughout your entire life, um, you would have experienced basically all the emotions one has to give. You'll be happy, you'll be sad, you'll be, grateful, you'll be inspirational, you'll be, the lowest depth of your, like the things that you think you can't go on in your life. You will go through emotions where you feel like you even want to, which is a bit dark, but like things where you want to give up, you just want to end your life and things. Everyone will go through
Mm,
all of this, no
yeah,
matter where you are, right? But just know that it's just building you up in your character. So yeah, I think that for me is just probably the lowest depth is when you lose someone you love. You will experience things that are unimaginable. Um, but it will be, I think, a huge stepping stone. So the lowest point is actually sometimes a very good thing to
true,
go through.
true. All right, next question is more light. What is your favorite occupation? Well, I think I've got my answer
Something
already.
to do with cars, right? Favorite occupation. I mean, I had a few in my growing up. Of course, what I do is really a
Yeah, that
passion
would
of
be one
mine.
answer. Yeah,
What I do right now is just amazing, being able to do good. And I have a company with amazing people. But when I was growing up, I always wanted to be a pilot.
mm, okay.
Because now if I look back, I could understand why pilot, because
So,
it's a form of
plane
escape.
pilot.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a form of escape.
Ah,
So that's
understand.
why when I was growing up, oh, I always want to be a pilot, right? Because
Understand.
it's like you get to escape. You're in a cockpit with just
Yeah.
two people and you're flying around the world.
Yeah.
You're never, on ground. So when I look back at it, I'm trying to decipher a little bit about, why was I really interested in
Mm.
pilot, but I never pursue it because it was just wanting to escape,
Yeah. It was your
right?
mind responding to the
Yeah.
current
So
situation.
I remember primary school, secondary school, every time someone was, Jeff, what you want to be? Pilot. I just wanted to be a pilot, but I actually never really wanted to be a pilot.
Yeah,
But
understand.
I just want to be a pilot.
But it was like a
Yeah,
way to escape the
yeah, yeah,
present
yeah,
here.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I understand.
I love aircrafts. I love anything with the engine, aircrafts, cars, things like that, right? So I was like fascinated by it. Like I love flying. I know people who hate flying. I love
Mm.
flying. Flying for me is one of the greatest joys in the world. Being able to see such machinery just take
Yeah,
off,
yeah,
like when I see an A380 humongous plane being able to
true,
take off, I'm like,
true.
wow, what an engineering feat. So I love the idea of flying. I mean, I still wish that, before I'm 50, I would love to have a pilot license that you can actually take
Mm.
on and fly a Cessna plane around.
Okay, yeah.
I think that would be a dream for me.
Wow, nice.
So I think that would be, something that, pilot when I started off. And then after that, of course, it moved on to something more unrealistic. Would love to be a race car driver, or someone to do within the sports of motor
Mm-hmm.
racing, F1,
Yeah.
rally. Yeah, I'm so into cars and into those things. That would be such a dream career. But what I do now is truly, I think, really just it's driving me forwards. It's very much driven.
Yeah.
So yeah, but if I had a chance to do something, if they say like, hey Jeff, like you can take this and put your current role on a pause, and then if you have 1 week of you can be anything you want to be. I'll probably be be Max Verstappen
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
be Colin McRae in the rallies or be a pilot.
Okay.
Yeah, that will be a
Good,
thing.
good.
Yeah,
So anything with an angina here. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Now, what is your most marked characteristic?
Most marked characteristic. What would marked characteristic would
So if
be?
someone was to describe you, they would say, "Oh, Jeff, he's so like this."
Oh, yeah. I think I think some people would say it's just Jeff is full of energy, very fast. Yeah, very sharp, probably, hopefully. But I think they would say he's fast. Some would say I'm all over the place. Maybe sometimes, but yeah, I think it's just fast.
Okay.
Having that 100 miles per hour
Yeah.
comes across when I tend to go get on a groove
Yeah.
on things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what you were mentioning earlier. Yeah. Now, what do you most value in your friends?
Um, in my friends, I think just the fact that they're always there. We don't talk often. I have a very close WhatsApp group with four other of my close friends. So we're three couples, all married, and we're all in a group.
Hmm.
Me and my wife, my friend and his wife, and then my other friend and his wife. So this the six of us. We're all in this WhatsApp group. The WhatsApp group only gets active maybe in a year, probably maybe only like 4 or 5 times. Maybe it's like someone's
Yeah. Yeah.
birthday, or someone's having a party towards the year end. Beyond that, it's just very quiet. But if anything were to happen, they know like we are the ones or they are the ones that are always there.
Hmm.
So I know for a fact like sometimes the value that I really admire in these friends is just the fact that there's such a strong foundation that you've built. You don't even need to communicate with them
Yeah.
on a
Yeah.
daily basis. That I think I don't know what is it, loyalty, or is it, I guess I don't know. So I don't have a term for that, but
Trust, I would say,
the
probably.
trust, yeah. But
Yeah.
it's just encompasses so many different
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the fact is that I have that in my friends that they don't need assurance of,
Yeah.
me texting
Mm-hmm.
them, hey guys, sorry, I've been
Yeah.
busy. How are things with you
Yeah.
guys? They don't need me to tell
Yeah.
that, right?
You have such
And
a level of
yeah,
connection here
correct.
that you don't need
Yeah,
that.
they don't need me to
Yeah.
message them and to
Yeah.
apologize. Even if they have something going on and I say, guys, sorry, I can't make it. They don't have a grudge on like, oh,
Yeah.
always Jeff can't make it, always so busy.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
know it.
Yeah.
But the fact is when there's something important that happens to me or what, and I call them, they're there straight
True
away, right?
friendship.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I'm not sure if you have one, but who are your favorite writers?
Oh wow. Okay. I have uh, actually read, funnily enough, I've read The Lord of the Rings.
Hmm.
So I feel Tolkien is crazy for him to envision something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that. Um, and then the rest of it is really not that much. Well, I mean, Walter Isaacson is really also interesting because when he writes, stories about like Steve Jobs, and others, right? You really kind of see his perspective of that
yeah,
individual because
yeah,
it's not directly Steve Jobs writing
yeah.
about it. It's Walter Isaacson's perception of who Steve
Mm.
Jobs is, right? And then you really get to see, wow, the thought process of someone being a. So I think like it's really nice. But I also feel like writers sometimes are just beyond the book side of things. I think because I came from the TV
Yeah.
industry, and for me, I mean anything that Christopher Nolan does, I feel sometimes just being able to hear when I hear his interviews when he talk about their writing process for the movie like Interstellar
Yeah.
or Inception
Yeah.
or The Dark Knight, right? And the ideas, and you see him as a director, but also as the writer and the creator of that story. It's just amazing to see how people could push the realms of creativity
Yeah.
to a level that wow, can't imagine, right?
Sure.
So yeah, like those kind of people
Okay.
truly admire. Yeah.
Okay. Now, who is your hero of fiction, if any?
Oh, hero of fiction.
Yeah.
Uh, well, Tolkien is like I mean, Lord of the Rings is wow,
Yeah. Yeah.
crazy. But then you realize it's actually about him talking about his experiences in the war, and hence he turned his experiences of going through war into this fictional
Yeah.
story
Yeah.
of the ring.
Yeah.
And so you're like, wow, what an amazing take on life to then push into something super fantasy. Yeah, I think probably not many. I'm really bad in these kind of
That's
questions
okay.
on literature. It's
Lots
not
of people have
not
no
my
answer.
greatest strength in literature. But yeah, I
But
think probably,
Lord of
yeah.
the Ring is so,
Mm, mm, mm,
valid answer.
mm.
All right. Now, which historical figure do you most identify with? I would say, are you most inspired by? Because I feel it's kind of weird to think of someone you could identify as a
Yeah.
big historical figure.
Mm,
So most inspired by.
mm, mm. Most inspired by historical
Yeah.
figure. Uh, wow. Not. Mm. I wouldn't really say I'm like truly inspired and I live by this person. I study this person's life, and but when I hear stories of just how, like, if you go way back, like Genghis Khan, and how he just kind of like occupy like half of the world
Hmm.
kind of thing,
Hmm.
you go like, how could one person do
Yeah.
that? Like,
Totally relate to
like
it.
how, right? Like half of the world was just under control of one person.
Yeah.
Oof, man, like, but I really didn't read. I don't know much about Genghis. I
Mm.
never bothered reading his book and stuff. But when you hear snippets of people
Sure, sure.
telling you this, and you go like, woof. To know a little bit about what the Obamas did, and what the with, because I kind of am updated with most American politics just
Hmm.
because they are the superpower of the
Sure,
world. What they say
sure.
tends to dictate what the world does and stuff. So I've always been very close with the American politics. So to see what the Obamas achieved during their time, and the change, and of course everyone has good things and bad things, but I think just to see the world at that point of time had a very different sense of purpose,
Hmm.
and it's all also comes down to them, how they carry themselves. I think that's also something truly inspirational. Of course, I haven't had read the book on Michelle Obama's book yet. I'm not too keen on those
Yeah,
fronts,
yeah.
but I think to hear and to be in part of that conversations before, I think it was really interesting.
Okay.
But yeah, other than that, I don't really have any
No, that's
idols in
good answers
historical.
already
Yeah.
too, yeah.
Mm.
But I can relate to the first one.
Mm.
If I had to answer this question, I think I would have said Alexander the
Alexander the
Great,
Great. Yeah.
for the exact same reason, and
Yeah.
especially he was super young. So
Yeah.
I always wondered
Yeah. Just
how
how?
could you
Yeah.
make that happen in
Mm.
such a short lifetime?
Exactly. Yeah.
Um, yeah, goes beyond my understanding and
Mm.
imagination.
Mm.
So yeah, Gengis Khan as well. Now, what are your favorite names, as in first names? And could be yours.
Yeah, so Jeff, really good name. I always envy people who had the name that starts with A
Okay, yeah.
because they're always like being mentioned the first in class. So, my wife's name is Audrey. So
True, Vanessa is always at the back.
yeah, so
Yeah,
you're
true.
always just waiting and like, come on, like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
standing
yeah.
in the sun here, like, like it's too hot, get me out, like,
Yeah, there is a Malaysian perspective to
yeah,
it.
so
Yes.
like, oh man, like, so yeah, it's yeah, having names with the start with the letter A is always a blessing. So my
True.
wife's Audrey, so she's always like, yeah, she always tells me, she always jokes around me, oh yeah, last time during my school time I always get mentioned. I'm like, yeah, J is always in the middle.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Um but I mean, when you say names, so there's some people that I really am inspired by, but they're more of like sports
Mm-hmm.
personalities. So like Jurgen Klopp, I'm a big Liverpool supporter,
Yeah.
and to see a manager like him with his presence, and when he came in, and Liverpool was just in complete shit show, and for him to change it around in 8 years to become a club that's admired, and just to see how he himself has grown in the last, in that 8 years when he was there. So for me, like, whoa, the name Jurgen is such a German name,
Understand. Yeah, yeah,
but
totally.
but I just feel wow, like, such a powerful
Yeah.
name, and now that name resonates with me, like, wow, I love the name Jurgen.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're associated to
Yeah,
someone
yeah,
really.
and then
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like,
Makes
and
sense.
my favorite players like Steven Gerrard in the past. So like Gerrard, whenever I hear the name Gerrard, it's just poof, like, wow,
Mm,
this fighter, this leader and stuff. So those
understand.
kind of names are really cool, cause
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it's just,
Good.
yeah.
Yeah,
Sometimes
yeah.
names just immediately you think of that
Sure.
person. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
So
mental association you have.
mm.
Yeah. All right. Now, I think it's a bit repetitive, this one, so we might skip. I'm not sure. What is it that you most dislike? It might be repetitive with the kind of people you don't like to
Yeah,
be
yeah. I
surrounded
think it's
with.
just their personality, their traits when it's
Yeah.
too loud. I
Yeah.
mean, if yeah, I think everyone just has maybe a trait that they should, probably just try to learn or improve on it a little bit better. But yeah, just don't be self-centered.
Mm,
Like, everyone has their own sort of way of doing things. So
yeah.
yeah.
I think I will remove this question. It's just doubling up. Now, what is your greatest regret, if any?
No, yeah, no regrets. I think kind of like, live like my whole entire life journey has always been with no
Yeah.
regrets.
Yeah.
I mean, I had one. There was one point of time when I think I was in between my second and third job. I actually had an offer from a local company. I was in the industry of the creative art space, doing TV commercials and stuff like that. And there was this local company who was owned by a very, very wealthy family in Malaysia. So the son of this, wealthy family had started this business in the creative space, and then hired, I think, his friend or someone to run the business. And then this friend of his, who's the MD, was then interviewing me. Really liked what I did and what I do. Wanted to offer me a huge bump from my junior salary that I was earning before. The opportunity was there, but I didn't take it. I said no, even though they countered offered like I think 3 or 4 times. They came
Mm,
back with a better offer and a better offer. To a point, I'm like, whoa, okay, it's a bit silly for me to turn down this offer when I'm like 24
yeah.
years
Yeah.
old, and I was like, phew, it might be silly for me to turn down this offer because I may not get it again in the future. And then also to know that I'm just one step closer to a really wealthy family like in Malaysia. And if you have that access in Malaysia, it's really about who you
Yeah.
know than what you
Correct.
know.
Correct.
Or probably it's actually mostly in around the world. It probably applies the
Yeah. Yeah.
same. It's just who you know. So
Yeah.
I was like thinking to myself, wow, I'm just one step closer to being in the who's who,
Yeah.
right? In this, billionaires club in a way. Uh, that is not a regret because I don't, I think I'll just have a very different pathway
Mm-hmm.
from then on.
Sure.
But I think like always when I look back, I always question the what would have happened
Mm-hmm.
actually if I
Yeah.
did say yes to that, right? Like, yeah, I
The
would
kind
love
of life
to.
now,
Yeah,
and
yeah, but honestly speaking, even if there is this, supercomputer or quantum computer that can actually predict,
mm-hmm.
if you were to take this pathway, this is what happened, and there's a visual ball that will literally show you your life. And imagine like if I'm having a life with in a big mansion, having yachts, and having cars that I dream of, and the wife that I have,
Yeah.
and the kids and everything and all that. I'll still be like, cool.
Yeah, it's just another
Great.
path. Yeah,
Not, I'll be like, damn it, like, oh man, like, no, because you know
understand.
why? Like, you just can't have a regret. If you do have a regret, then man, you're not living in the moment and you're not living for tomorrow.
Yeah, true,
Because then it's just a bit of a waste.
true,
Then, yeah.
true. I appreciate. Still, like align with your peacefulness
Yeah.
as a self.
Yeah. I'm like, great, good job. Let's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
move on, right?
Oh, that's
So,
good.
yeah.
That must be good to be in your head actually, because you don't
Yeah.
just like you don't waste time
No, yeah.
on fake questions or
No.
things that don't really matter. So you can stay focused.
Sometimes when I have networking meetings or people who come up and talk to me and all, I will always just tell them like, just get to the point, buddy. Like, what do you want from me, right? Especially in the business sense of things, right? It's like, hey Jeff, like, let's have a chat. And you get messages on LinkedIn.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, hey Jeff, I admire what you do, and like, would love to have a chat, right? So sometimes when in my free time, I will reply them if I know it's not an automated message.
Yeah.
If it's really someone genuinely typed it out on LinkedIn and sent me a message, I admire what you're doing with 42. I had a talk to your cadet, and I really admire how you've trained this person. Would love to have a chat. I will tend to just reply to the person like, "Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate the good words, but sorry for me just being direct. Just answer me these two questions, right? Number one is like, what is it that you actually admire? just don't say you admire.
Yeah, yeah.
But what is it that you admire? Is it the tenacity, the grit, how I built this and stuff? What is it, right? Because you say you admire means you've done some reading. So I need to know a little bit more about like what is it that you admire about what I do. And then secondly is just like, what do you want? Like, just be honest. Tell me what you want. You want to hire my students? You want to collaborate with us for ABCD? You just want to have coffee with me to talk about personal life? Just tell me what is it. Just don't waste my time because I just need to be fast.
Yeah, yeah, true.
So like when you reached out to me, you're like, hey Jeff, am I like what you're doing? I have this podcasting. I want you to be my guest. Done. That's it. I love that one message. Get to
I
the
did all
point.
that day.
Just like that's like
Yeah.
I just need that. I
yeah.
hate people who will like, hey Jeff, on a WhatsApp, leave you there.
I know.
Expect
I
me
don't
to
like it either.
reply like yes,
It's
like
a lot of waste.
yeah, I will
totally.
not. I will never reply those
Yeah, yeah.
like hey Jeff, and then just
I'm like you
yeah.
on messages when people start to be too vague. I'm feeling like
Yeah.
either they don't know what they want,
Yeah.
so why would I waste my time,
Yeah.
or they want something and they're trying to. So just let me know. Then we're just like,
and it's not being rude.
Yeah,
It's just get to the point. Come
Yeah,
on, like
exactly.
I'm
Yeah,
here
yeah.
for you, right? Because I'm always at the bridge halfway there, but you got to do that
Yeah,
to me
yeah,
too, right?
correct.
Don't take a step forward to test the water.
Yeah.
Maybe you may had some bad experiences in the past with people when you commit and then they don't commit and stuff and all, but don't bring those experiences, that luggage that you have, into with me or with anyone else, because that is just you then being tarnished, and again the regret and
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want to do this. Then you're just constantly lugging around
Yeah,
luggages.
yeah, sure.
If you had some bad experiences of people leaving you on red and ditching you, and you put in so much effort, you pitched to them and then they just left you like that, took your pitch, and stole your work and stuff, so you don't want to do all those things again, then this is part of life and learning. Don't bring a different sort of thing on the table, because then I may look at it and say like, you're not being honest then with me, because you assume that I am gonna do the same things as
Sure.
the past, right? So you don't. Just be true to who you are. If that is what you think is going to be good for the person, for your client or potential client or whoever, then just keep doing it. Some will take it and abuse it, then that's just your learning. You remove them in your life. Some will, and I'm sure there are going to be people who will appreciate and will then put you on a pedestal, and then you appreciate those people more.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. Now, I think it's one of the deepest questions here. How would you like to die?
Well, I don't know if it's a blessing that I've actually. So my late brother passed away literally in front of me. So I've seen how life can be taken away from you in like really with my own two eyes. Um, so I think how I would like to is just like probably the most common answer. Probably someone who says like in your sleep when you're not disturbing anyone.
Yeah.
So when you're not troublesome to
Mm-hmm.
people, hopefully I'm in my own house, not in some nursing care.
Yeah.
Because if I'm in my nursing care, that means I'm a annoyance to some people.
Mm-hmm.
I need people to take care of me.
Understand.
So I really don't want to, to be a burden to anyone, to, my future kids or to my wife. Yeah, hopefully I'm independent enough. And then to just go to bed. Like your definition of happiness, your first question. Hopefully going to bed, wow, man, that was such a good day, and like, wow, looking forward to tomorrow, and then
Yeah.
tomorrow never comes,
Yeah.
right? So
But you don't know it.
yeah, but I don't know it. So
Yeah.
I'm just looking forward to tomorrow,
Yeah.
right? And you wake up and you go like, oh, hang on a minute, this is different.
Yeah. Which is good because if you think so, then every morning you wake up,
Oh yeah, you were
you're
like,
really
is this
happy to
it?
waking up. Yeah.
So when you wake up and you go like, oh wow, like
Indeed.
yeah.
Indeed.
So
All right. Yeah. Fine enough. And now, what is your motto in life?
don't really have a motto. I think it's just living day by day, being able to just do your best and just don't look back. I think that's just super important. Yeah, no real motto in life.
Okay.
Just keep looking for, keep doing it. Just keep trying.
Yep.
Right, you'll get there.
Fine enough.
Mm.
All right. So we have gone through the 35
Oh wow,
questions.
okay, great.
How
Okay.
you feel?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good.
So now I will ask you if you can. So we will go into your business,
Mhm.
Ecole 42,
Mhm.
and I would like to have you do a 1 minute elevator pitch, a real one, 1 minute.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, so 42 Network is a global computer science school, and we're part of the network. We have 3 campuses called 42 Malaysia. What we do is basically a nation building initiative. We want to provide education for those who are 17 and above to make them industry ready in the world of digital. We do purely computer science training. It's a physical environment, but it's an ecosystem for all. Doesn't matter what kind of socioeconomic background, status that you have. If you're passionate, if you have the grit, you want to push yourself, and you want to be involved in the future of how the world will be operated, this is your opportunity. There are no more excuses for individuals to say, "Oh, I don't have the time," and this and that, because 42 creates an environment that you should not have any excuse other than "I just don't have it in me." That's your only excuse for not being part of 42.
Right.
So I would love to, have more people to understand what we do, and to have more impactful journey during this period. So yeah.
Okay. That is nice. Now we're gonna go into a little bit more depth
Hmm.
quickly about your organization still,
Hmm.
but my way, brain strategist way.
Hmm.
So the first question is, why are you on Earth for as an organization? You were mentioning a why at some point in
Yeah,
your
so
interview.
the why is, I think, because we have seen, I mean, even personally, right? I've never had the opportunity to pursue a university career simply because of finances. It's really expensive. And then, in Malaysia, in the public university, it's also a lot of, ratio in terms of the number of
Mm-hmm.
people who are, we're a multiracial
Yeah,
country, but there are limitations
sure.
for being, non-Bumiputra. I
Yeah,
mean, I'm an Indian Malaysian, and there's limitations in the seats that are available to
yeah.
me. In some ways, it's an unwritten rule thing, but it's pretty
But we all
common.
know
We
about
all know
it,
about it. So public university was just never an option, because even if I were to get straight A, which I was never a straight A student, so I would still struggle. So private university was only the pathway for me, and that was also not possible because of finances.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, for me, having being able to be part of this 42 really drives that cause, because I'm walking the talk in a way to show that it is possible.
Yeah.
So I feel like, why we're here is to really uncover more of these gems of, not to say that I'm a gem, but I think to know that we have already seen so many brilliant individuals coming through our classrooms and getting out of our environment, doing really well in their life. I think, we want to uncover more of those, and all of these people are currently right now in their silos. We just want to bring them into one group, like one ecosystem. So that's
Understood.
why we're here. Yeah.
Okay. Good cause and big one. Now, what people do you want to resonate with as an organization again?
Yeah, people with grit, very high desire to learn, keep pushing themselves. They know, like, currently maybe my limit is here, but I want to push the limit even further. It's training the mind, like going to a gym. Maybe today you can lift 5 kgs. If in a year time, maybe you can do 20, 30 kgs. Same with the mind. When you want to learn new things, sometimes it can be a bit hard. But if you keep doing it and you keep training the mind is a muscle, you'll be able to then be a lot more resilient. So I think those are the kind of people that we want. We want people who are ready to stand up and say, like, hey, you know what, I want to be part of this society that is, you know, driven, a lot of grit, a lot of, desire, resilience part. And I think, yeah, that's the kind of people that we resonate with as well.
Nice. And it's any age? I mean, it's
17 and above, but there's no limit. I
No
mean, my
limit.
oldest student in 42KL was close to his 60s.
Okay, so it's really open
Really
to
open, yes.
for
And
everyone.
it's it's really at your own pace. It's 24
Okay.
hours, right? You can come in at 3 o'clock in the
Yeah,
morning if you
yeah,
want
yeah.
to. So yeah, it's really just come and, like, stop having excuses. I don't have the time because we are a 24-hour
Yeah,
campus.
yeah,
Stop saying everything is paid for and it's so expensive because we are free.
yeah.
And stop saying, oh, maybe I don't have the right skills, because we have students who don't even have an SPM or a high school qualification and no coding skills, but yet they're able to, within 6 to 8 months, build an entire platform on their own and make it as their portfolio, and then even start their own companies, right? So
Okay.
you could do it. And
So
we're
it's pretty large, actually, this
yeah,
audience.
yeah, we're the best organization, or I would say we're the best ecosystem for you to do new things that you never thought
Yeah.
that you could do before.
Okay. So now that leads to this question, actually, what you're saying. How different are you from your competitors?
Yeah, I mean, so it's funny because people have asked me before, internally within our team, the directors, our board members, investors, and also friends, family. They ask, like, who's your competitor, right? You got to do competitor analysis and things like that. I always struggle with it because I'm like, there's no competitor. Not to say that, wow, I'm such in a beautiful space, I got no competitor. No, because I feel like even if there is a competitor, they're a complement to what we're
Yeah,
doing.
yeah.
They're driving the same cause. So, even if there's an alternative school that's doing a physical school, teaching computer science, and it's maybe like free or super affordable. It's great. Like, we need more of you,
Yeah.
because there's so many people in this world or in Malaysia, and I can, with my megaphone, I can only maybe talk to 1,000 people, but if with your megaphone you can do another 1,000 people and more people, so we all are sharing the same thing. So I wouldn't say
Understand.
there's any competitor. But the other part of it is also because we are such a unique ecosystem. We work with universities who initially thought we were competitors. We work with the alternative education providers who initially thought we were competitors, but we work with them now. We work with high schools, we work with ministries, government agencies, industry players. So really, I don't have a competition, but what people are doing around the space is driving us to do
Yeah.
more, do
Yeah.
better, right? Yeah.
I understand. Okay. Latest question is, what do you promise to those people that you are resonating with?
Um, I mean, it's I'm not gonna say things like, "Oh, we promise you a job, and we're gonna give you this and that and stuff." But I can guarantee you this: that even if you were to spend just 5 minutes coming to our campus, maybe during our open day, or you just come in for a visit, for a tour, you've arranged it with my team and stuff. Please arrange with my team, because we have some people who just walk in thinking that we're open.
It's open because
Yeah,
so
yeah.
so
Please arrange
open-minded.
with our team before you come into our campus, right? Because even though it's 24 hours, it's 24 hours
Yeah.
for the students.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not for
yeah.
visitors to just
Yeah.
walk in at 3 o'clock in the morning, right?
Yes.
But yeah, so even if I swear upon, just the belief that I have, and I can assure people that even if you just come in for 5 minutes and come into our ecosystem, be it 42 Penang, 42 Iskandar Putri, or 42 KL, as long as it's a 42 Malaysia campus, I can tell you that you will leave the campus again, even if it's just for 5 minutes, you will feel inspired.
Mm,
I guarantee
nice.
you that.
Nice promise.
Yeah, I
All right.
definitely guarantee you that you'll feel inspired.
Wow. Very nice promise.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's all for the questions about your organization.
Great.
Now, if you want to share anything, upcoming news,
Mm.
expectations, things we haven't said, it's your turn for a few minutes.
Yeah, we've got quite a few things, I think, lined up for throughout 2026. We're planning to do more of the kind of open days, bringing people involved, events as well, and not just our introduction to our curriculum, but also doing like a 1 week long immersion program for those who maybe don't want to do the whole year program in 42, but they just want to try a little bit. We're also launching new of those kind of tools or programs next year. Um, and then we're also potentially wanting to run like a innovation challenge where we bring in universities, high schoolers, industries, to try to solve something that we all face through. The current idea that I have in my mind is to do something within the scam industry at this point of time. It's getting a bit out of hand.
Yeah.
And I think there are ways that we can solve it now with the dawn of AI. So, I'm trying to push the boundaries to see if maybe if we can gather, 1,000 people who are industry professionals, cybersecurity professionals, students from universities, from the business, the arts, the cybersecurity, the computer science students, high school students, and all these people, such a diverse group of people. And we give them like 1 week to sort of let's together, maybe in a big space, in like a convention hall or something like that, one big space, and let's together try to figure out how can we solve or prevent more scams to happen, right, to people that we love. So I'm sure with 1,000 people in the room we'll come up with something. So I'm trying to build to that idea. That's what we're trying to build for 2026. To know if we are actually going to be doing or not, I think the best way for people to be out there is just follow our Instagram, our LinkedIn.
So I'm transitioning into it then.
Yeah.
Where can we find you online?
Yeah, personally, if you want to find me on LinkedIn, my name Jeff Sandhu on LinkedIn, find me there. I'm also on Instagram, but Instagram is more of my private life, so try not to follow me. It's not a private account, but it's just more my personal life thing. I don't really post much, also more on stories. But my LinkedIn, follow me on my LinkedIn. I share a lot about my journey and my work there and what we're doing there. And then for 42, of course, the 42 network, you can search about it, but also for 42, depending on the campus, 42 Kuala Lumpur or 42 Penang or 42 Iskandar Putri, you can search it up, Google, Facebook, Instagram, all those kind of channels. Yeah.
I will put all the links in comments.
Everything
for
is
the benefits
there.
of the audience.
I mean, at this day and age, right? Everything is Googleable. So just Google it, you'll find. If you Google my name, you'll probably find a whole bunch of stuff that I've done before in the past. And so just Google, just remember 42 Malaysia, and you'll find things. Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Cool.
And we are now ending this interview.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Vanessa.
Thank you.
It's a really very, very good experience. Interesting questions. But
not your
really
everyday questions for sure.
Yeah, not your everyday questions. But I can understand why, as you would mention, most guests that you would have, you would advise them to not research on.
Yeah.
Because I think then you sort of really get the raw insight. So it's been a great pleasure. I think it's one of the more refreshing ones that I've been in. I mean, I've been in this space for a long time. This is certainly going to be sticking in my memory for a long time. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. It was a great encounter for me.
Likewise.
First time to discover you like this. And the journey is amazing.
Thank you.
I didn't research on you on purpose.
Okay.
So I've done research on people that I don't know because I want to hear from them.
Great.
The journey is amazing.
Thanks.
Where you have landed is quite an achievement indeed. So I'm really grateful that you dedicated some time this morning for me.
Thank you.
And you gave me this opportunity to connect for first time. So I hope it's not the latest one that we meet.
Yes, of course.
But thank you so much for your time here. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.